So we are the county high school vocational technical school, and we will often call ourselves Morris County School of Technology because vocational has a little bit of a stigma to it. So we call ourselves Morris County School of Technology, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do because it'll matter when we move forward to discuss this model. So we have two kinds of high school programs. We have full-time career academies. There are about 12 of them that consist of a little over 800 students. And we also have share time programs of 11th and 12th grade students who come to us for half of a day, either in the morning or the afternoon, for career and technical education. So a lot of traditional trades programs, cosmetology, CAD, things like that. And the other important thing to know is that before we started this new model that we're going to discuss with you today, we had an existing partnership with the County College of Morris that included articulated credit for our students and dual or credit or dual enrollment opportunities, particularly for our 12th grade students who could take a couple of classes at CCM, or they could spend their entire senior year at CCM taking their gen ed courses as well as their academy or career and technical education classes, and our school would fund 22 college credits. It would be free to the student. So we had that already in place.
So I'm Patrick Enright. I'm the Dean for Business, Math, Engineering, and Technologies at the County College of Morris. Most of you are community college folk, so you know about County College of Morris, but just in case, a few details. We have about 8,100 students, plus or minus, in any given semester. About 50% of those are full-time, 50% part-time. That's been quite a change. We used to have many more full-time students as a percentage of enrollment, but we're about half and half now, plus or minus 2 or 3%. About 75% of our students, and this is a bit unique for some community colleges, about 75% of our students are traditional age students, 18 to 22 years old, which is kind of a higher proportion than may be typical at your school. So that's a little bit about the County College of Morris, and now about our presentation. So we have a goal, and our goal is that you're going to leave here with a sense of what our model is, but also that you'll walk away knowing how the model benefits all three of the major parties involved. The community college, the business and industry, and then really most importantly, you're going to hear from our students in the presentation, the students in the program.
All right, so I just wanted to go over some key terminology because you hear a lot about articulated credit, dual enrollment. So articulated credit to me is a promise of credit to come. So students take a class when they're in high school and they're promised credit when they get to the college. So we have that with CCM where a lot of our career academy classes will provide our students college credit, but only once they're registered and enrolled at CCM. Then there's dual enrollment, and dual enrollment is when a high school student will take a college level class, but it may or may not translate into high school credit required for high school graduation. Concurrent enrollment, I just consider a catch-all phrase. It just refers to any student who is taking, while in high school, is taking a college level course. And then dual credit is when students receive both college and high school credit while enrolled in a course during the high school years. So what EDM is, our particular model, is a dual credit or a dual enrollment model. So what you're going to see is that our students are taking courses at CCM, and those courses are counting as credit towards meeting high school graduation requirements, as well as earning them transcripted college credit. So what are the ingredients in our program? And I want to mention right now that we do this in the advanced manufacturing and engineering realm, but we are currently talking about translating it to other areas as well. So the engineering and manufacturing part, it's not as central to the model as it seems. It's really transferable. So we have 40 11th and 12th grade high school students that we, the Morris County School of Technology, provides for the program. So we have 20 11th graders and 20 12th graders. So it's a 2-year program, which makes it share time. The County College of Morris provides 28 college credits in the area of mechanical engineering technology. And there are opportunities for the students to earn more credit, which we'll talk about later. And then the last thing is business and industry support. So we have advisory council members who support the program, various organizations, local businesses, and we were very fortunate to get NASA to support the program through NASA Hunch, which is an initiative to have high school students manufacture parts for the International Space Station. So our students actually make parts that have gone up in the SpaceX rocket to the International Space Station.
Okay, so I've got the graphic. So we're going to try to lay this out. We're coming in at a high level, and then we're going to be going down into some details. So over here at the County College of Morris, we have an Associate of Applied Science degree in Mechanical Engineering Technology, and I'm going to talk some about that program a little bit later. And then at the Morris County School of Technology, there's a career share time program for 11th and 12th graders, and what we have done is this. They're one program. So over at the Morris County School of Technology, the assistant superintendent sits in her chair and evaluates and runs a share time program for 11th and 12th graders. I'm over at the County College of Morris, sitting in my chair, managing or overseeing a mechanical engineering technology program. To the students, they don't see any difference. They're in both programs simultaneously. What's going on in here is the students don't see a difference. But in this center circle are all of the systems that go at the County College of Morris and all of the systems that go at the Morris County School of Technology. And as we walk through today, you'll hear about how we've integrated those. And it comes back to the title of this presentation. It's a partnership, because it wouldn't work unless it was a partnership. Okay, so if you need evidence, people are doing a lot of things out there, but dual credit and dual enrollment have been researched. Actually, it just seems to have heated up in the last 10 years. It's an area for our future Dr. Castelli, who's doing a dissertation in it. But the book that's making the rounds out there, Redesigning America's Community Colleges, Bailey, Jagers, and Jenkins, 2015. There's sort of I found this somewhat of a tentative validation for dual enrollment programs. They seem to improve both college enrollment and graduation rates. When you go back to our original goal here to talk about how this benefits the community college, of course, these are strategic goals at almost every community college right now. Because I found the endorsement a little bit on the light side, I moved on. You can drill down. There are papers out there all over the place. There's a lot of research on dual enrollment and dual credit and the outcomes for the students. And I pulled one where I liked the way it led in. There were strikingly large differences between students that were enrolled with dual credit and non-dual credit students. There's a reference there. Some of the other research talks about students in programs like this are more likely to enroll in college, to persist into the second semester, and then have higher GPAs after 2 years. So there's underpinning this, there's a reason that we're engaged, and partly because it addresses strategic goals of the institution.
Okay, so how does EDM work? Now we're going to get into the details. So year one. So our students apply at the end or in the spring of their sophomore year. And we look at several factors in our students. We look at their GPA. We look at some of their attendance records, all of their attendance records, and their conduct. We want to make sure that they're stellar citizens before we send them off to the college. We also run an Accuplacer test just to gauge their initial math level. So we do the elementary algebra CLM. And one of the more important factors is an interview. So one of the professors for the program and I will interview all of the applicants, and we give them a task that they have to complete as a group, because we want to see how well they work together, how they approach problem solving, and if they're really willing to dive in. For example, we gave them a task with a cup and a ball and a bunch of other stuff like rubber bands and straws and tape, and we asked them to modify the cup so that when you drop the cup with the ball in it from the top of the table, the ball stayed in the cup. So we're just looking at how they approach problems and how they collaborate. In the summer, we have them go through the college's orientation program, and I also give them an orientation session as well. In the fall, they take 3 courses. They take the courses as a cohort, and they earn 7 credits. In the winterim, they will either do math enrichment, and that goes back to that original Accuplacer benchmark, or if they're fine, if their math levels are acceptable, they can take an additional GE course and earn more credit. So in the spring, 4 courses, but an additional 7 credits, and that's really when they get into the prototyping lab and start building the parts for NASA. And then early summer offers another opportunity for our students to do either project work, a lot of them did bridge building last year, or to take general education credits, so math or English or whatever they need or feel they want to move forward. And that, it was an opportunity that arose because of the differences between the high school calendar and the college calendar. So while college courses are done mid-May, high school continues through June. So it worked out really well for our students. Some important points are the high school actually funds half of the student tuition. So we don't pay CCM the first year the full tuition amount. The reason is we pay for a shared professor. So we really lucked out with this program. We found an adjunct professor who was at CCM, who was willing and eligible to be high school certified. So we facilitated that process. So he's considered a part-time employee of ours, and also he's actually a full professor now, I think, for you guys. And the students are on the high school calendar. So they are there when CCM's off for the winter, the students still trudge in, same for spring break and that session between mid-May and the end of June. So that was year one. So the second year we have seniors who are returning. So in the fall they take 4 courses for 8 credits. And once again in the winterim they have the ability to take GE classes. In the spring, we have an additional 3 courses, another 8 credits, and then they have a total of 28 credits, and that doesn't count any of the GE credits that they can earn. So this year, we fund 100% of the tuition to CCM. So they send us a bill, we pay the bill for the students. They are taught by multiple professors who are CCM employees, and the students at this point follow the CCM calendar. So we don't have to worry about those breaks. The students just follow the college calendar.
So when they come into the college, there was mentioned on the coursework, the program that they're taking at the County College of Morris is the Associate of Applied Science and Mechanical Engineering Technology. This is an ABET accredited program, which definitely plays into how our program is administered. It is 20 credits of general education and 45 credits of engineering core. So I'd like you to see, when Sherry was talking about the students are taking courses in the fall, in the spring, and winter, where does it fit into the scheme of things? Here is the 45 credit engineering core of the Mechanical Engineering Technology degree. There are the listing of courses. These students are enrolled in the CCM classes. So year 1, there are the 3 classes that they take in the fall. Here's spring in year 1, the additional classes. And what you can see is they're proceeding through the mechanical engineering core. In year 2, here's fall, we've added some classes, and then in the spring, more classes. So at the end of the program, they'll have 28 credits out of the mechanical engineering core out of the total of 45. We're talking about the other part of the program, which is general education. These are the 20 credits. And so when Sherry was talking about, so for example, the juniors in the winter break, which is longer for the college than it is for the high school. So the students are there, with the exception of 1 week. They're able to enroll in a class during our winter term, and where they're choosing from is right here. So they can add to the 28 credits in the engineering core by picking up Gen Ed to proceed towards the degree. This is also true in the summer term 1 that continues after the spring semester ends, and they can pick up more. The mention in the first year for the juniors, some of them are not taking Gen Ed, and the reason is courses in that statics course up there, Mech 104, and this course, Mech 140, I'm sorry, Mech 110, they both have a college algebra prerequisite on them. They take those in their senior year, the second year of the program. So students that are not college algebra, have not cleared a college algebra prerequisite, need to work on that during their junior year, which is what's happening during the winter term and the summer 1.
All right, so when we originally envisioned this program, we wanted something that offered multiple pathways for our students when they were done with their high school diploma. So they earn 28 or more college credits. So they could take those college credits and bring them to a 4-year college or university who may or may not take them, depending upon the program. So for example, if they go to NJIT, to a similar program, their credits will probably transfer, but other schools might not take the credit. So it's kind of a gamble. Or they could stay at CCM for an additional year and earn their associate's degree in engineering technology. And this year, about 1/3 of the students in the program are doing just that. Or through our various eager business and industry partners, they can go directly into the workforce and get an entry-level job in the manufacturing industry. And a lot of those companies will then fund tuition for further education for those students. And then once they earn their associates, they can either then go into the workforce, or they can transfer to a 4-year program.
So, and I just want to add, with regard to the transfer issue, this has been kind of fascinating because for the parents of these students, they're taking college credit, and the parents are not really aware of the nuances of transferring credit from institution to institution. So in their minds, when we say transfer, that means they transfer anywhere and for any reason. And so we've started to focus a little bit more on talking to the parents about what it means to transfer. And the example I always use for them is, well, let's start with the students have 28 credits in mechanical engineering technology. If they decide to move on to another college as soon as they graduate from high school and they're an English major, none of these courses are going to apply for an English major. And you start to get into that the courses transfer into like programs. What I will say is that, for example, I was just at an advisory committee meeting for the mechanical engineering technology, and sitting behind me was the interim chair for the technology programs at NJIT, who was slowly getting up to speed on what we're working on, and his comment was, you know, when we asked him, will students have any issues transferring these courses? And the reason it's an issue is because the students are not completing the entire mechanical engineering technology degree. So NJIT is in the habit of, if our students complete our entire degree, they will take the whole thing. Well, what happens if they come piecemeal? And the response I was heartened by, he just said, well, are they CCM classes? Yes, they're the CCM classes. They're exactly the same as the students are taking at CCM. He said, well, then it's not a problem. We take those classes. So again, the transfer is good to like programs.
As Patrick said before, you know, I live about 15 minutes away in my school. We're not connected campuses. So I have to get my car and drive over and visit. And when I walk in to see what the students are doing, I'm amazed at how happy they are. They, particularly the 11th graders, because it's just brand new for them. So imagine, think back to being a high school student when you had to follow this bell schedule, and you know, it was very compartmentalized. And then these kids get off a bus literally, which I think horrified some of the CCM folks in the beginning. The bus just pulls up right in front of the Student Community Center, and the kids pile out, and they travel to their classes, and they feel free. They feel free, and they believe that what they're learning is important and is going to help them career-wise in the future. So they feel like they're getting ahead, and when someone tells them that they're building a part for the International Space Station, no matter how small that part is, they're excited. So I just wanted to add that in. So why did we do this? And where on earth did it come from? So a couple years ago, I was in a meeting of the New Jersey County Council, or New Jersey Council for County Vocational Technical Schools. And there was a presentation about the demand for skilled workers in advanced manufacturing, that there are so many jobs they can't fill, and the average age of the worker is in the upper 50s, so there's going to be a need for workforce. And manufacturing is considered one of New Jersey's key industries. And I also oversee admissions to our full-time career academies, and we have over 200 applications for 26 seats in our Academy for Math, Science, and Engineering. So we knew there was a demand for engineering-related programs.
We're one of the few shops, you might say, what back in the day used to be called the machine shop. We're one of the few left, because when manufacturing was rumored to have gone overseas, and a lot of it did, a lot of schools, a lot of vocational schools just cleaned out the shop, and that was the end of it. The machines were gone. We were one of the few in the area, And the college invested over $500,000 from multiple sources to renovate the facility. And that included the machines. Both the machines that were there were refurbished, and new machines were brought in, primarily computer numerical controlled machines, CNC machines. We renovated the lab, and as you walk by, one of the things we did is the lab used to be behind big cinder block walls. You wouldn't have known it was there. We put a window in, which was great, so when people walked by, they could look in and it would look, you know, they'd see all the new stuff. But what I was concerned about, and he's in the room, was my boss, the Vice President for Academic Affairs, walking by and seeing that it was empty. That's not good, right? A lot of money went into the facility. Hey, it should be up and running all the time. And so, as I remember the story, Sherry and I were walking down the hallway, and I looked into the lab, and she was going, oh, we should look for one of these programs where we can put things together. And when I look in the window, and I said, well, how about that? It would be great if I had 40 high school students in that lab, and that, in part, the available space for the students made a big difference. It just made it easier. And
then the final piece that came into place was the state was offering grants to start new programs. So the LEAs were the county vocational school districts. So we were eligible to win a grant that would help establish the program. And so I was able to apply for it and get it, but even more important, because I actually think financially this program is sustainable, at least with our model. But it spurred the college into action, because sometimes it takes time for things to change in schools and in colleges, but a grant deadline moves things along. So I remember we had a very large meeting with all the important folks, Dwight being one of them in the room, and with that grant deadline looming, we were spurred on into action. So everything really fell into place. And I just want to say the grant money was nice, but like I said, we really almost don't need it. So, and we're going to be in the last year of the grant next school year.
so we get now down into the details, where two institutions with two different systems, very different outlooks on students and how courses run, et cetera, try to come together to make it work for the students so that the students don't see anything. I mean, really, I can still remember the day the first school buses pulled up. We don't have school buses coming to our campus. And standing out on the parking lot, waiting for the students to get off because we didn't want them to be lost on the first day. It was kind of a first for me, greeting students as they got off, and realizing, boy, this is a big responsibility. I mean, she's handing off her students to us, and we wanted the systems to work well. So we had a lot of great things happen, a lot of successes. The students are highly engaged. You can kind of hear it in their voices if you visit. I mean, they're working and they're serious. They're in a prototyping lab. There's another lab that we've got, a materials lab. Dangerous equipment. Someone can hurt themselves. And the students, part of the thing is, I think, when they got off the bus at the college and we treated them like college students and we put them into a serious working lab, they rose to the occasion. So we have highly motivated, very engaged students working on state-of-the-art machines. A NASA partnership was mentioned, and the model that works, it works. As you'll see, we'll list some challenges, but all in all, things seem to be going well. The additional credit opportunities, I think the students have definitely grabbed a hold of those. So 28 is the base, but the students can really, as we've plotted out, could have as many as 45 credits by the end of their senior year, which puts them a semester away from graduating. Sherry?
I will say that we do get a lot of applicants for the program. So we get a little more than double right now the applicants for seats. I do want to mention, though, County vocationals these days are actually accused a lot of creaming the crop, they tell us, with our full-time academy programs. So taking the best of the best for these highly competitive career academies. This is not that kind of program. We're not looking for students who are the Vals and Sals of their high school classes. We are looking for students who really want to work with their hands, who are builders. They have to have a track record of academic, I'm going to say, success, but it doesn't have to be straight A's or A's and B's even. We're looking for students who are in their robotics club, who have taken courses in their high school related to what they'll be learning at the college. So I'll give you an example. I told you how we interview the applicants and then we have them do a task. So we decided this year to use that same task for our Academy for Math, Science, and Engineering applicants. So those applicants would come in and they'd look at the cup and they'd look at the ball, and no one touched the cup or the ball or the straws or the rubber bands or any of the index cards. They left them on the table and they talked about it. And then when time was running short, they would slap it together. And I don't think we had one that worked. With our EDM applicants, the first thing they did was pick up the ball, put it in the cup, take it, drop it from table height. They're hands-on learners who want to dive into this kind of program. So it really offers an opportunity for these students to delve deeper into what they already love.
So I do want to add, before we go to the list of challenges, that going back to the slides that cited different kinds of research related to students being successful, having completed dual credit programs, and actually a program like this where the students are embedded in a college program is very different in the research than students that are just coming and taking a course here and a course there. So if you're interested, if you wanted to, the research actually breaks out by different kinds of delivery of dual credit programs. Challenges, of which there are many. But there are 2 slides full of challenges here, and we'll just hit on some of them to give you a sense of reality. I don't know what I want to pick first, but the different schedules, high school and college. Again, I'm sitting in my chair. When we get to the end of the semester, hey, the semester's over. The students are gone, except for these students. And so, when the semester's over, not only are the students gone, but well, the faculty are gone too, but the students are still here. And so that was a bit of a moment of discussion. Well, what are we going to do with them now, because the faculty member's not here? But I think we've worked a good accommodation, and that was enrolling them in GE classes that were running in the interim terms. The college class schedules our schedules are different in all sorts of other ways, holidays, etc. So the calendar, and the schedules, when we put these courses together to accommodate the share time schedule, which is 12:07 to 2:53 or something like that. We had to schedule our mechanical engineering technology classes into that slot. I want to highlight, though, that if we only got 17 high school students in the program, the 3 additional slots would have been open to college students. That these classes are just college classes, and the only reason it's all high school students is because they were able to fill the entire section. But the scheduling of the classes was a little bit twitchy, just because we needed it to fit into the high school share time schedule.
Yeah. Transportation as a county district has always been a little bit difficult for us because we don't share any physical space. High schools now, so you can imagine their perspective, have to have a bus to send their share time students to the county vocational School, Morris County School of Technology, and now also County College of Morris. So it required them adding another vehicle to their transportation fleet. So they are not always happy about it, but I would have to say this is the end of year 2, and it seems like our issues are mostly resolved. They're usually at the beginning of the year. What happens is the local sending districts start pooling the transportation, so 2 nearby districts will combine and send the students over.
And I'll just, funny story, the very first time, very first day, bus pulls up, big honking yellow bus. 1 student got off because the sending district only had 1 student in the share time program, but they eventually adjusted, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And what's also starting to happen, so this is the 3rd year of admissions that we've gone through, is we see that there are districts that are starting to really subscribe to this program. So they'll become the primary sender. So there are 3 districts that send a higher number of students than the other ones. And as a matter of fact, I asked one of the applicants this year, so how did you hear about the program? And he said, oh, my guidance counselor said you have to go to this program because they had another student in the program. So.
And we're gonna have an opportunity, we have a roundtable this afternoon, and for those that wanna get into the details of the solutions to some of these challenges, we're happy to do that during the roundtable, as well as talk about the successes.
Yeah, and I also want to mention graduation requirements. What we mean is for the high school students. So because the students are leaving halfway through the school day, they can't always fit all their required classes into their schedule, so we've had to be very creative with offering online options for their financial literacy requirements or other courses. So we've been able to do it, but it's a little challenging.
And we got the sign that we need to wrap this up, but you can see, and just imagine the first bullet at the top there, students with special needs. You're aware, I'm sure, I'm guessing, that the way the college handles students that require accommodations is very, very different than the way high schools do. And so if a student falls into a category of needing accommodations, it's created
some
issues.
Some issues.
Some issues. And so we could talk about that later, but I think we can go, again, during the roundtable, we can talk about some of the details, or if you have a question about.
My question is, during the winter session for the math, is that something that the high school supports the students with, or the college?
That is such a great question. And I'm seeing that there are a couple kinds of support. So I'm going to start with the financial support. Financially, right now, we support the students. So we continue to pay the tuition. We can do that now because we are grant funded. I've done the math, and I think that we can continue to do this. My business administrator doesn't. So, but you know, she's probably the expert. So what would happen in the case where we can't support it is we would put some of those charges back to the family. So, you know, we can say to them, we are going to pay for those 28 credits or anything that is a graduation requirement that you can't fit into your high school schedule, but anything that's a general ed credit above and beyond what we offer, you will have to pay the tuition for that. And I think most families would be fine with that.
And I'll just add, the other piece of math is in that junior year, it's for the enrichment to get those students that have not placed out of college algebra. So it's not, you know, just placing into college level, but placing out of it. They're getting enrichment. And the reason it works is because the faculty member, the professor in that junior year, is on both of our payrolls. So he is a college faculty member, and the Morris County School of Technology is paying him. So he can work or his work schedule for them includes the high school schedule. So he's on site. But in the senior year, I think the seniors just follow our schedule. So when the fall semester's over, they're done.
Right. And then the other support is what I like to call the bureaucracy of things. So if you think about it, it's a group of 20 students, but they all might have different ideas about what they would want to take during that time, and you have to get them registered, and then the college has to bill us. So it's a true partnership. So, I have to work with the professor, the students, Patrick, to get everybody registered for the appropriate courses and to get the invoice sent to us appropriate, and textbooks. So we have to order the textbooks, and I have to be invoiced for the textbooks. So there's a lot of bureaucracy.
I'm kind of chuckling because I'm thinking about different times that Sherry has called me, and one of them was, a high school faculty member is ill, right? You don't cancel class, you get a sub. And so the first time that happened for the juniors, she had to send a sub over. And so the phones start ringing, because someone gets sick at 6 o'clock in the morning, phones start ringing over at CCM. Where should we send the sub? They need a parking pass. Who's got the parking pass? What are we going to do? It was actually a bit of a challenge. And again, that's an example of trying to integrate the college's operating procedures with the high school.
I will say that we did establish a system where we have a handful of trained subs who know exactly what to do, who get paid a full day sub pay to do half a day at CCM. So we have that all worked out now.
Because it's a full day of work to get over.
Okay, well, thank you for attending this wonderful session, and thank you to our speakers.